Anthropic just launched plugins for Claude, and software companies lost a combined $285 billion in market value in what people are calling the Claude crash. That includes big name legal tech companies like Thomson Reuters, LexisNexis, and LegalZoom, who are all down more than 10% in a single day. In this video, I'm going to show you why Claude plugins are so powerful, and I'm going to show you how you can automate end-to-end workflows in your law firm just by using regular English. If you don't know who I am, my name is Masai Andrews, and I work directly with boutique law firms to help them figure out how to automate internal processes and incorporate AI into their day-to-day operations. So let's get right into this video. So in this video, I'm going to show you how we can take a messy file of case documents. We have a complaint, we have a demand letter, we have some notes, some internal notes that were taken, a bunch of different PDFs, a bunch of different types of documents. I'm going to show you how we can take that into Claude Cowork, and how we can have Claude Cowork generate a motion to withdraw document for us, as well as a case summary, and actually go off and conduct research relevant to the case, come back, bring that research back, give us research notes, and include those notes in our final motion to withdraw, and give that to us in a nice, clean Word document. So I'm going to show you guys how that works now. So because I've built out my own plugin for Claude Cowork, which is here, that has all the information about how we want to conduct our entire process for formatting a motion to withdraw. All that information is in here, which will let Claude Cowork know exactly how we want to format our specific motion to withdraw. Now, all I have to do is come into Claude Cowork. As you can see, I'm in Cowork here in this middle section. Come into the folder that has the case documents, which is this folder here that has all these documents relevant to the case. And then all I have to do is type / and then type withdraw. And that is the command that tells Claude to use our plugin that we've built out, that again is specifically tailored to our specific workflow of how we do motions to withdraw. We tell Claude to use that command to draft this motion to withdraw. And then it's going to go out and execute our entire process that we've outlined for it on how to actually create this motion to withdraw. So it's going to read all the documents that we have in our folder. It's going to create a summary of the case, and then it's going to go off and do research that's relevant to the case. And then it'll come back and give us the research notes, and it will come back and give us the final motion to withdraw as well. If I open up a previous example, you can see that it found all the case documents, it extracted the text from the documents. Then it went and generated a case summary that summarized the main aspects of the case. And then it went and conducted legal research. And so it went and actually researched different rulings related to our case and pulled that information back in. This is where it becomes really interesting, because you can not only have it search the web, but if you log in on your browser into your favorite legal research tool, LexisNexis, Westlaw, whatever you're used to using for legal research, you can have it use that database as well to conduct legal research. You'll just have to include it within your plugin in the skills section, which I'll show you how to do in just a few minutes. We can see it went off and conducted all this research relevant to our case. It came back, aggregated that into a research notes document, and then finally it drafted the final motion and gave us the final motion to withdraw here. Now, if you wanted this to automatically email this motion to withdraw to you or to members on your team, you could have it do that as well. And this is what the final motion to withdraw looks like. It has some spaces here for variables to fill in, things that it doesn't have information for yet. Again, if you wanted it to automatically search and fill this out, you could do that as well. I'm going to show you how to tailor this specifically to your specific law firm workflow. And when we go over the section about how to build your own plugin and how to actually have Claude build the plugin for you so that it's, again, tailored exactly to what you need for your law firm. So just run for a few minutes and it'll generate a document that looks like this for us for our motion to withdraw. So what the heck is a plugin? Basically, you can understand that LLMs are a brain, basically, right? And they need context about how to do certain things. And what a plugin is, you can think about it as like a folder or a package or a docket, something that just gives the LLM the information that it needs to execute a specific workflow. And so a plugin has these different components to it. So we have the skills in a plugin, which basically tells Claude how to use this plugin, right? Which tells it, for example, all the aspects of your workflow, or it tells it where it should look for certain information, or how to format certain documents, or to always check with an attorney before it moves on to the next step. A skill is what's called a markdown document, which is a text-based document that has all this information. If we come over to the folder that actually has our skill in it, and I open up the skill.md file, which is going to look intimidating in markdown format, but when I preview it, it's just a text document like this, which tells it how to act, what it should do step by step. First, load the case documents, then create the case summary, then perform the research, then draft the final motion, quality check, etc., 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 right? And you can edit this skill.md as much as you want in order to format it for your specific law firm workflow or for whatever specific task that you need Claude Cowork to execute for you. So this is the main component of the plugin, is the actual skills within the plugin that clearly tell the LLM what it needs to do step by step and how it needs to act and what guidelines it needs to follow. Then on top of that, we have commands. And commands are what allow us to call our plugin just using / commands. So earlier, when we used /withdraw, that allows us to bring our entire plugin into Claude Cowork just by using this / command. And you can include that in your skills and your plugins so that you can just use the different / commands as you're working with Claude Cowork, and it will automatically know what to do just from the / command itself, right? And the / commands can also have subcommands in them. So you could have, for example, like a documents command, which I don't have here, but you could have a documents command, and then a subsection of that could be documents motion to withdraw, for example. And then you could have one for each different type of document that you need. The last thing we have are connectors. And this leverages Anthropic's protocol for connecting language models to outside tools called MCP, Model Context Protocol. That just means that we're using this protocol to connect our language model to outside tools and outside information. So those are the main 3 components of a plugin. We have our commands, we have the skills file, and we have the connectors as well. And this is basically what a plugin folder will look like. We'll just have the skill.md file here, which is the markdown file, which is the text document that tells which tells Cowork exactly how to use the plugin. We have a README, which is just for any users that want to read this and figure out what this plugin actually does. We have that here. We'll have some different templates in here as well. If we want Claude Cowork to actually reference different templates of how we've done things in the past, we have all that stuff in here. But it's really just a simple folder that we then convert into a zip file, and we can upload that as a plugin, which I'll show you how to do. And then in order to work with plugins or bring plugins into your Claude Cowork workspace, again, you want to make sure you have Claude Desktop set up. And then once you come into Cowork and you open this tab on the left-hand side, you can come into the plugin section. And in this plugin section, we have the ability to bring plugins in here, right? So we can either browse the existing plugins. So Anthropic has already created a plugin for legal, which is mostly for in-house teams, which allows, for example, handling NDAs, checking stuff from vendors, creating briefs, responding. All these things are different commands that are just taking information from markdown files and executing on that information. And it's all specific legal information, right? So you have legal plugins, you have plugins for sales, for marketing, for bio research, data, finance, all these plugins that are prepackaged and made by Anthropic for people to use. But the really powerful thing about plugins is that we can build our own plugins. For example, this motion to withdraw plugin, as you can see, the author is me. And it's a plugin that I created in a folder that is specifically following a workflow that I want it to follow. And so what I'm going to show you how to do now is how to actually build out your own plugins and how you can actually just use Claude Cowork to help you build those plugins for you and actually help you to walk through the entire process of installing the plugins. Again, you can build this out end to end in plain language. You don't need to know how to code in order to do this. Here's how you can create your own plugins for your specific legal workflows. First thing you're going to want to do is just create a new folder on your computer. Call it whatever you want. I've just created this folder here, Skills Demo. And then we're going to have a couple of documents in that folder, which I'll show you in a second. So anytime I'm creating a skill or any sort of workflow or anything with AI, I like to have an example of the output. So for example, for this one, there's going to be an engagement letter. And I also want to have some example of the input. So here we're going to have a call transcript, so just a basic flow that's going to take a call transcript and transform it into an engagement letter. I mean, this could be looking at billing notes and creating an invoice. This could be what we did before, where you're creating a motion to withdraw or drafting some sort of motion. And the input obviously doesn't have to be one document. It could be several documents in a folder. And the output could also, again, be several documents in a folder. But we want some example of what the input's going to look like. So the transcript, for example, we want an example of that. And then we also want some example of what the output's going to look like. So the template of the engagement letter, for example, right? And then once we have both of these, the process is actually really simple from here, because all we have to do is go into Claude Desktop. We can create a new task. And then basically we'll just go into the folder that has our input and output examples. And I can just talk to Claude Cowork and tell it to help me create a plugin. So I'm going to tell it, in this folder, we have an example of a call transcript, and we have an example of a template of an engagement letter that should go out after the call is completed. So what I want you to do is help me build out a plugin, a ready-to-go plugin for Claude that has the necessary .json file to be registered as a successful plugin that will be able to ingest transcripts and then be able to output engagement letters for us at the end of this. And Claude itself is pretty good at actually creating these plugins. So I'm just going to tell it what we need. It can already see all the documents in that folder, and then it'll get to work on actually creating the plugin for us. And so this will even walk us through the process of inputting all the information that we need to create this plugin. So it asks us, is this going to be an internal plugin or do we want it to be shareable? So you can select this depending on whether you want to share it with other externally to other law firms as well, or if you just want to keep it internal. I'll select internal. And then it'll ask us what components do we want at the end. Do we want an engagement letter only? Do we want the letter and the summary and an intake form? I'll say letter and summary for this. It'll ask us about the types of inputs that we want it to handle. So we'll say, let's say PDF and Word inputs. And then let's handle this template only, right? But it'll ask you a few questions so that it knows exactly what you need to build out this plugin. Then it'll go and actually build a plugin for you. And the thing that's great is, funnily enough, Claude actually has a skill. So if you see over here, this skill, it has a create cowork plugin skill, which is a skill specifically designed to help Claude build plugins for you. And so all you have to do is just go in, speak in natural language about the plugin that you would like to create. And the really great thing about Claude Cowork is, because it has this skill designed to actually help it create plugins for you, once it's finished, it'll create this README file, which gives you all the information about the plugin that you need. It gives you the / command that you need to actually run the plugin. And then it just goes over everything that the plugin will actually do. And once you're ready to actually use the plugin, all you do is click this button here in the top right, which is add to plugins. And we can see that this has been added to our plugins. So if I come to the plugins now, I can see I have this engagement letter generator. I have the command here, which is /generate engagement to create the engagement letter. I have the skills in here as well for the engagement letter. And so you can do this basically with any workflow in your law firm. You can just talk to Claude in natural language and it can build out a plugin for you to be able to automate that process. And then because Claude Cowork went and created that file for us in our own folder, all we have to do if we want to share this with people is just take this file, put it in an email, and then share it to whoever we would like to share it to. So you have that plugin that you can share with anybody internally in your team. You can have this custom plugin and everyone can have their own Claude Cowork and use your specific plugins for specific workflows in your law firm in their specific Claude Cowork plans. So those are Claude plugins. That's why the legal tech market lost so much money. That's why a lot of these software companies lost so much money, because you now have the ability to automate end-to-end workflows in your business, in your law firm, just using plain natural language English. If you are the owner of a small law firm or boutique law firm and you want help building out custom automations, there's a link you can click on in the description specifically for that. Thank you guys a ton for watching this video. Like it if you liked it. Comment. Let me know if you guys want to see more Claude Cowork stuff, more Claude Code content. Let me know what other types of content you guys want to see. Subscribe so you don't miss any more videos like these. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys a ton. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week.